Hello and welcome to Video Revealed. I'm Colin Smith. Let's talk about the next generation of audio tools. What do I mean by the next generation? Well, I'm talking about the amazing company Accusonus and their tools. Era 5 is now the new update, and it's amazing. I've done tutorials before on their previous technology, and I use their technology on every single one of my shows because I have a loud fan in my laptop, and that's not green screen behind me. That's a projector sitting on the floor behind me. So that's two loud fans that I need to remove, and I use the Era noise remover to remove that, and it works perfectly. Now, I've put together some horrible files to fix here. Some were meant to be real-world examples. For instance, what happens when you your main audio goes down and the only audio you have is the stuff recorded with your camera microphone, which is usually the worst microphone. Well, I've got an example of that and how we can fix that and remove reverb, noise, and things like that. But also, what Accusonus has done is they understand that you rarely need one plugin. You probably need at least 2, 3, or 4, or maybe 5. So there's a new way to combine all of them together, and they give you built-in presets to make it so much easier. All right, you ready to go for some really bad audio to great audio? Well, the first thing I'm going to get you to do is to get good quality monitoring. You're not going to hear much on crappy laptop speakers. You're not going to hear much with crappy earbuds that you get from Apple or Samsung or Google. Those just don't have the range of frequencies. Some good quality headphones. These are the K240 Mark IIs, AKGs. These are standards in studios around the world. They're not that expensive, and they sound amazing. And they're also over the ear, meaning that no outside sound. They're not noise canceling, but it just prevents outside sound as much as possible from getting in. So I'm going to wear these the whole time. Okay. So let's go to a file I've used many times before, and let's see how we can fix it. Okay, let me play it back first. Microphone on my Canon 5D Mark III. This is a way that many folks will record audio and they want to fix it. Okay, so this is the poor quality audio. You can go to the effects and search for Era, and there's the Accusonus plugin. So you can drag them onto a clip. I tend to put things on a track, especially if I have a lot of the same problems throughout a track. So I'm going to do it that way. This is on A1, so I've got my audio track mixer showing. If it isn't, go to the window menu and turn it on. Twirl this down at the top, and here's where you can add your plugins. And there are VST2 and 3. The individual plugins are in VST2. In VST3 is where you're going to get the cleanup assistant, which we'll get to in a bit. And there's also the pro versions that you can get that are different from the standard bundle. But let's go and jump into the big one, which is Reverb Remover. In Premiere Pro, the effect doesn't open up, so you need to double click on it. And the very first time you click on this, it's going to be at 100%. So I'm on a 4K screen. So once I do this once, it's a sticky setting and it's remembered. So the great thing about this is there's one big knob. And that's what Accusonus is great at doing, is giving you tremendous control with just one simple knob. Don't be deceived by this simplicity. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. So let's leave it on the default setting and just hit play. And the problem is caused by the camera being about 6 to 10 feet away. I'll turn this off. We're in a reflective surface. So this is my kitchen. We've got tile floor, wood cabinets, and a hard countertop, which is making all. So that's the default. Some of the reverb is gone, but we can take even more out. And the thing is, you're not going to hear that telltale metallic sound that other solutions have when they're removing reverb. Now, the other thing that's really good and easy is at the bottom here is focus. So right now it's looking at all frequencies, but sometimes the reverb, like in this case, there's no low reverb. The reverb is all middle to high. And if you can remove just the stuff that's the problem and leave the other stuff, it's going to give you a more natural result. So let's look here. This is high frequency. This is low. This is the high, low, and mid frequency. So let's go to high frequency and play. All of the audio. I'll turn this up too. Over the place, and it actually smears together. That's what you hear when you hear room tone, and that's why it's so difficult. Turn it off. To be able to fix that, because it's not a simple reflection. I mean, that's a huge difference. Now, you have to set your expectations. Some people who aren't audio professionals think that this is going to make it sound as if you were in an isolation booth with a $10,000 microphone. It's not. It's going to fix crappy audio and make it usable. And that's really the goal here. This went from something annoying, that reverb in the back is annoying, to something that's passable. And I want to be as honest as possible here. You're not going to turn the knob and make it sound like you re-recorded it, but at least you're going to remove enough stuff to be able to use this. Now, I want to turn this all the way up just so you can hear it. Let's go back to the beginning. All right, I'm recording this with the built-in microphone. Now that's 100%. The Mark III. This is still sounds pretty good. Turn it off. Audio, and they want to fix it. And the problem is caused by the camera. Let's go to mid. 6 to 10 feet away, and we're in a reflective surface. So this is my kitchen. That's high-low. We've got tile floor. Let's go to mid. Cabinets and a hard countertop, which is making all of the audio echo all over them. So you can tweak that a little bit. Like I said, I put it on a track, so anything that I put in a track is going to be removed. If I had different levels of reverb, then I wouldn't do it on a track. I want to remove the specific reverb for the specific track. All right, let's move on to the next one.
And that is yet. Never had fly rock yet.
So this is recorded very, very quietly, and if you have good enough headphones on, you'll hear there's a little tiny hum in there. So instead of trying to guess which one to use, I'm going to go all the way down to VST3 and call up the Audio Cleanup Assistant. Again, double click on that to open it. And you get 5 slots for all of the 8 plugins that you can put in here. And there's also these great presets, and these presets are carefully curated, and they're a great starting point. You can also build your own repair chain, and it's useful to apply in similar conditions. So if you happen to come up with a collection of 4 or 5 of these plugins, you can reapply it over and over again, save it, especially if, like I said, you've got that same kind of stuff going on. So if you click on here, you can see the different presets. And the one we're going to go for here is dialogue leveling. And you'll see it loads some of these plugins. Now, you'll notice that this notice comes up here, says if your audio contains background noise, by using noise, you should use noise remover before auto leveling. And if I say don't show this again and click OK, it's not going to come up. That's a really good tip, because some people get confused. Well, where do I put things in the chain? And here's the general rule of thumb. If something is going to increase the overall gain or the volume or the tone, then it's also going to increase the noise. So before that, remove as much noise before you start enhancing it. So that's what you can see here. It's added the noise remover and then the voice leveler. So I'm just going to hit play.
His contractor, however, who he employs for doing the
and I'll turn this off.
In his pit, has had such an incident.
Now I am going to go to low noise here and turn this up because there's a bit of a hum.
In Iron Prior quarry, they threw rock 350 meters, damaging 2 cars.
I'll turn it off.
And they also injured 1 man.
So as a starting point, I used the dialogue leveler and then fixed it. This would be a perfect one for a bunch of different dialogue on one track, and it's going to level them out. Now the voice leveler It fixes uneven volume faster than manual fixes. The emphasis button here fixes spectral inconsistencies from the speaker moving. So this is if the person that was being recorded and the microphone was here, or it was a lapel mic and they kept moving off axis. That changes the spectral frequency, the overall spectral sound, and this is going to fix it if you turn emphasis on. The breath control excludes breaths from the enhancement. So it's trying to level things out, and it's smart enough to know when someone is breathing, it won't enhance that if you turn that on. Very nice. And then at the bottom, you can actually see the difference there.
James, the company was found guilty and fined.
Okay, so let's move on to another one here. And this is a hum interview, which sounds really bad. Now, what I've got here is a free spectral analyzer that you can get from, if I go over here, Vox and Go, and this is called Span. It's free, so if you just go to Vox and Go, just Google them, you can download this. If I click on this button here in Premiere Pro, that will allow me to keep this plugin open and another plugin because I want to compare the two. So let me play this back and have a look at the 60 cycle hum. That's what this is.
First foray into technology.
You can see that big blob.
Playing with stereos.
So this happens in North America. It's 50 cycles in Europe when something isn't grounded properly or there's a ground loop within a room and there's that low hum. And you can't really just remove it because part of the speaking voice, especially a male speaking voice, is in that frequency. So we're going to remove it with the noise remover. So again, back over to our track mixer. So there's where I've got the span in after so I can see the results. And I'll go to the Accusonus noise remover. I'll make sure that this is on too. And this time I'm going to turn on low frequencies and I'll crank this right up. Now, this takes at least 3 passes before the noise remover identifies what in fact is noise. But watch the spectral start to, this big blob in 60 cycles will just be removed completely.
I think my first foray into technology as a young kid, playing with stereos and connecting things to TV, whether it was video. I think my first foray into technology as a young kid, playing with stereos.
Watch it. There it goes.
Things to TV, whether it was video. I think my first.
Now you won't hear that on laptop headphones, but you can sure hear it on good quality headphones. Or if you're listening to it on a system with a subwoofer, you'll hear that 60 cycle hum. It's gone. Next up, here's a voiceover I did, and it's
clearing away clutter.
It's okay.
Lessens the chance of a kitchen fire.
But I think it needs a little bit more oomph. So again, I've got the audio cleanup assistant here, and I'm going to go to the deep radio voice. There we go. And this adds the noise remover, the auto EQ, voice deepener, and the voice leveler. And we still have room for one more. So the voice deepener, the voice deepener is like some kind of freaking voodoo magic. I've been a musician all my life, so I'm used to hearing my voice recorded. But if you're not, it's really scary to a lot of people because their voice outside of their body does not sound like the voice inside your head. Inside your head, it actually sounds different. It sounds bassier, boomier. So that's what this is doing. This is going to give you a deeper voice. So let me play this back.
Keep anything that can catch fire away from the stovetop. Things like
I'll turn
oven
it
mitts,
off.
wooden utensils, food wrappers, towels, and curtains. Loose clothing can hang down onto stove burners and catch fire. It's better to wear short, close-fitting, or tightly rolled sleeves.
And even with this, I could still make my own changes to the auto EQ.
When cooking, have a kid-free zone of at least 3 feet around the stove and areas where hot food or...
All right, pretty good, right? All right, now I'm going to show you a horrible file that is almost unfixable. Be careful, get ready on your volume, because I'm going to try as best I can not to blow your speakers out. But this is a file that is just a huge problem. You can see right here on how blown out it is. This was never meant to be recorded. This was an on-camera, on-location recording just meant for sync purposes. It was meant to be thrown away. But again, what happens when your main recording goes down and this is the only one? So I'm going to play you what I have fixed, and then we're going to turn it off and you won't believe it's even worse.
What I'm doing, you want it, fine. If you don't, you don't. Most of my career has been running outside of the pack.
So I'm going to open up the Audio Cleanup Assistant, and this has the de-clipper. So clipping happens when volume exceeds 0 dB. And in the digital world, you don't count from 0 to 100, you count from below 100 to 0, or below 0 to 0. Anything above 0 crackles and pops and clicks, and it's a real problem. And if that happens once, maybe you can fix it. But if it happens over and over again because the volume was set too high, it can be a problem. So the de-clipper has two types, and there's no hard and fast rules. You try one or try the other. And then down at the bottom, there's a standard and a high quality one. And the high quality setting will push your CPU a little bit more to reduce that. Now again, set your expectations. This does not sound like we had him in a isolation booth in a studio. Nothing's gonna sound like that except going back and re-recording it. And we don't have that option. So this is de-clipping, then removing noise, then the voice EQ, then the voice leveler. And then I stuck a de-esser on it. And I'll show you a de-esser a little bit closer in a second. All right, so again, I'll play this back and then I'll turn this off. And you won't believe how much worse it is.
This is what I'm doing. You want it, fine. If you don't, you don't.
I'll turn this
off.
off.
Most of my career has been outside of the pack. I'm an outsider. Everyone likes to think that they're an outsider. I'm really an outsider when it comes to this business. I run around over here.
And you can see we peaked here. We clipped and peaked inside Premiere Pro. So the final result, you're not going to win an award for that audio, but at least it's usable. I get contacted all the time by people who are freaking out because they have something that bad and that's the only audio you have. So this might be able to save you. All right, now these are the files from Accusonus, and you can actually download these from their website and try them out too. So let me go through these. This is a different file for de-clipping, and again, I'll open this up.
Please remember to pat the dough out starting in the center and slowly press it out to the edge of the pan.
Turn that on. Try it again with it off.
Please remember to pat the dough out starting in the center and slowly press it out to the edge of the pan.
So this is a lot less clipping, but it still needed a bit of help, and that definitely helps it. Okay, the next one is the de-esser. Yikes. This example really does show you what's going on. Now again, pay attention to this bottom area here, the waveform, and I'll turn on the difference. The de-esser is finding all those little whistly little sounds. It's called sibilants, and it removes them out of there automatically. And you can set how much is being removed. And the difference will show you what is being removed. And the broad setting, you use that for really bad, problematic files. Okay, so let's play this back.
The sound of the ocean.
I'll turn it up.
I want to sail around the world. But sadly, I'm seriously broke right now. We'll see. I just love
turn it
the
off.
sea, the sun, the sand,
And
the
off.
sound of the ocean.
Turn the difference on. And you can see the green stuff here is what's being removed. So the gain, the overall audio of the clip is staying the same, but the de-esser is just finding those problematic S's and getting rid of them. Okay, next one. This is a pretty simple one, but a very useful one. This is a noise remover. This is the noise remover, just getting rid of regular noise. So let me turn this off and play it.
Here's my phone, and it's actually a two-piece case, so there's more protection.
So very typical of a lot of environments. When you shoot, there's that mid-hissy kind of sound. And I'll turn this on and we'll fix it.
And it saved my phone more than a couple of times.
Maybe I'll turn it up a bit
So
more.
to sum up this review, I love this phone case and I definitely recommend it.
Turn it off.
I love it because of the bulk that it gives my phone, and it's actually a 2-piece case, so there's more protection.
And Accusonus has added this button to remove buzz-like static. So this is anytime you don't have something hissy, you've got something buzzy. It's a different kind of waveform, and it does help the noise remover identify that and remove it. Okay, let's talk about these plosives. And I'll open this up. So these are B, P, and T sounds. And this happens if you don't have a windscreen in front of a microphone, or the person's too close, or they're not set up correctly. So you don't have to use a windscreen, but if you're talking very close like a radio announcer, then you do need something to stop that. And those little screens stop the B's and P's from hitting the diaphragm and crackling. So let's listen to this with nothing on.
Rude for no apparent reason, especially online. I believe it would be better to build communication bridges through politeness, patience, and respect.
I'll turn it
You've
up.
probably observed that people can be pretty rude for no apparent reason.
Here we can also listen to the difference. So that's what's being removed.
Through
and there's
politeness,
an
patience,
extreme
and
button
respect.
for really problematic files. So again, you would put that before you started enhancing. So before the auto EQ or before the voice leveling. Now this is a great example of the auto EQ. But again, we need to learn this. So we'll turn on learn and hit play.
We're going to talk about the best ice cream place in town. I've always felt that a good gelato place was
turn it
missing
off.
around here, but it's finally here, and it's amazing. It's a family business. Everything's organic and super.
What a difference. So again, what is happening here is the auto EQ has listened to the sound, it's found the deficiencies, and then it put the dot in the middle. So now if we want to add more air and crispness, or more clarity, or more body, this is where we can play around.
Super tasty, and vegan options are also available. Today we're going to talk about the best ice cream place in town. I've always felt that a good gelato place was missing around here, but it's finally here, and it's amazing. It's a family business. Everything's organic and super tasty, and vegan options are also available. Today,
audio guys will call that problem honky. Things sound too honk, honk. There's a certain frequency of that honkiness in that, and it's been removed. It's smooth and pleasant now. Now here's a good one. Remember I talked to you about people listening to their own voice in their head, and it doesn't sound like it really does. So let's turn this off and listen to this.
Share my fitness journey, hoping to motivate myself as well as anyone else who is in the same place as me. The love and support I've received all these years has been
Turn it off.
Amazing. Thank you for everything. Really.
Turn it off. Go back to the beginning.
I started this YouTube channel to share my fitness journey, hoping to motivate myself as well as anyone else who was in the same place as me.
So I added a little bit of punchiness at the end. Again, a simple knob, and so much is happening in the background. That's the great thing. All that brilliant engineering work, and I mean audio engineering work, is at the touch of a fingertip with just moving that dial. Love it. Okay, and the last one, this is a good example of the voice leveler. You'll hear the differences in level.
Hey ladies and gents, you may have noticed that I haven't been active on YouTube
let me turn it
lately,
off.
But now I am back. And believe me, this was a much needed break. New videos coming up very soon. Cheers. Hey ladies and gents, you may have noticed that I haven't been active on YouTube lately, but now I am back. And believe me, this was a much needed break. New videos coming up very soon.
And again, you can see at the bottom, the yellow is the area that it's changing, it's adding to this, and the black is the input. So the output yellow, input is black. So there you go. There's a look at the amazing tools. Let me just take these headphones off now. So that's the new Era 5 bundle from Accusonus. You can get individual plugins. I am an affiliate. There's affiliate links down at the bottom. I would really appreciate if you are interested to use the links down in the bottom. They do help us out here. But Era 5 is just absolutely brilliant. I think I mean, Era 4 blew me away, and they've been, went back to the drawing board. So the quality is better. The way that it analyzes things in the background is even better. It's smarter. Plus, they're adding more tools like the voice leveler and the auto EQ. So I love the fact that Accusonus is, on the forefront. That's what I call this next generation. They're the ones that are innovating, I think, when it comes to noise reduction, more than anyone else out there for us video editors. And it's VST and also Pro Tools. You can run it on Pro Tools, Mac and Windows. There's trial versions too that you can go and try out and see what you like. I'm blown away. Like I said, I use it on every single show because my fans are very loud in here. Hey, if you're new to Video Revealed and you found this informative, take a moment and subscribe. If you want to support us some more, you can use the affiliate link. You can also go to the online VideoRevealed.com store where you can donate once or monthly, any amount you want. There's also a bunch of free stuff there and some great stuff for you to buy. Till next time, I'm Colin Smith, and it's my job to keep my ears open to help you fix the problems with your audio files.